Welcome back to Geek News Now Live, the live stream where we talk about the geek news and just geek stuff that's happening all the time. Today's episode, all about WandaVision, all about episode 5 specifically, but also the stuff that comes before and the stuff that potentially comes after. So if you're worried about spoilers, get out of here. Whatever. Let's just get out of here. My name is Chris, and I am your host. As usual, I got a great panel with me. Everyone here is a part of the Geek News Now family, so absolutely make sure you are subscribed to the Geek News Now YouTube page. And if you're interested in getting in on contests and things like that, we just started running contests. So check the banner below on how to get involved in that. But I'm going to let my co-hosts or panelists or whatever you want to call them, that's up to you, introduce themselves, starting with Debbie right here to my stage, right, left. I don't know. Debbie.
I'm Debbie. I'm part of the social media team for Geek News Now. All the content that you see on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram comes from us, and hope you guys enjoy it. We also share around a lot of our other podcasts, like the Geek Gauntlet, Geek and I forget the other one. It just totally went through my head. But we have a lot of stuff. We share articles from the actual website. So come join us and enjoy the fun.
We've got tons of stuff. Debbie's absolutely right. And you can find all of it just by searching Geek News Now or going to geeknewsnow.net. And of course, watch the banner at the bottom for how to get involved in the new contests. David, go ahead. Continue.
My name's David. I'm the director of the Literary Legion. All the wonderful, lovely articles you see at geeknewsnow.net, those people, I assign those assignments. We write the hard-hitting stories, the reviews, the interviews, the everything you see on Geek News Now. We are in charge of writing.
And we love you for it. We appreciate it. Moving right along, William.
Yes, my name is William Morgan. I am the host of the Geek Gauntlet podcast. Just getting everybody caught up on the news and everything going on in the world of geek. And it is a very fast-paced and enjoyable podcast.
Who'd you have on recently? You had Alan
Silverwood. Yes.
You just said, so that was a very great guest. We just had that go up on our channel, and you can always catch them live, and all of that information, you can catch them on the featured playlists area of our YouTube channel. Last but not least, Devin, take us home.
Hey, I'm Devin Stewart. I am one of the writers with the Literary Legion, and I've got some articles that have gone up recently, and we've got some great stories being covered. There's a lot happening in the geek world right now, a lot of stuff coming up, so if you just watch, you're going to see a lot of content. So yeah, Geek News Now, check it out. Lots of articles going up all the time, and David there overseeing all of us crazy writers to keep it going.
That's right. We've got great content coming out, great contests coming up. But right now, let's get into it and talk about what we're here to talk about. And that is WandaVision. So, safe to say, I think, spoiler alert, by the way, again, spoilers, here we go.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
The end of the episode. Let's just start there. Let's start where we ended. Right? Do you guys want to start somewhere else? Someone stop me otherwise.
Oh, goodness.
Who was knocking on the door? For a second, I was like, is that old Captain America? And then I was like, wait, why would it be him? And then it wasn't. I saw gray hair for a second. And then everyone else was like, why wouldn't you think of her brother? And I was like, because he's dead. That's why I thought of old Cap. I was like thinking someone who could possibly be there. And then I was like, oh, who could impossibly be there?
Now, see, when the door knocked, even before the gray hair was shown, even before, I was like, it's Strange. It's got to be Doctor Strange. He's knocking on the door. This will be kind of the introduction.
We've got to fix this.
I thought it was him.
Exactly.
I thought it was Strange. I'm with you on that. I thought it was Strange. Well, okay, so I watched this episode 3 times to try to catch all of the details. All right, I caught one thing that like after seeing it and knowing it's coming, this episode is the first time she says her brother isn't dead. her son asks her, Tommy or Billy, I don't know which one. That part I wasn't paying attention to, but asks if she has a brother. And instead of saying she did, she says she does, and he's a long way away. So was he now created in that moment for the first time because she's reshaping reality?
And then it also brings up the questions of like created, or if he's a long way away, maybe that means another reality away, another multiverse away. And now he's been sucked into this. She is so strongly reconditioning her reality that it sucked an alternate reality Pietro in. Hence, again, later when you guys were thinking about Doctor Strange knocking on the door, that's when he's going to show up later because of this Pietro knocking on the door and stuff like this, the stuff that this is setting off. Which, if you've been here, if you've been watching the show, I've been saying this since day one. Like, this is going to be the thing that kicks it off. I was so delighted to see it. William, you haven't been able to join us often on these. I don't think you've ever been on one of the WandaVision ones before.
I haven't been on the WandaVision, but I've been on the ones before.
Tell us what you thought about seeing him show up at the end. By the way, alternate version Pietro, X-Men Pietro, Fox. Essentially, Pietro. Yes. People were wondering when we were going to see something, and I guess I also would ask, do you think he is like Quicksilver?
No, I think that this guy is actually Mephisto. We've seen Mephisto already in the series somewhat. When we got the Plink Flamingo a couple episodes ago, I think he has something to do with that. I just think Mephisto and Magneto is going to be really strong in this series. I'm a big fan. Though? I think both of them are going to be in this series because Mephisto could be the person who's pulling Wanda's chain, because I don't think Wanda's doing this all on her own. Mephisto could be the person pulling her chain, and then to get that wow factor toward the end, that big, huge what the heck happened moment, I think you're gonna see Magneto somewhere in this.
And so you would say you think Magneto is going to be the first mutant?
Yep.
Essentially, that we're going to see.
Yep.
And so you're saying that this person that we saw that wasn't actually alternate universe, that was Mephisto.
Yep.
And that's part of his manipulation.
Yep. Because I don't think Wanda's doing this all on her own. I don't think she is.
I've been curious. I've been asking that question myself a lot. And I think it's a great question to ask, is like, is this purely her grief, or is there something else at play? And given the fact that there are some unknown players still out there, I got to agree with you in that at least someone else could be out there, at least tugging on her strings, manipulating her in a way to make her do these things. But still, she is doing it, and it's not great stuff. We've seen grief or whatnot ever. But, Debbie, what do you think about that as far as with Pietro showing up? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that reality is already starting to split. And she just pulled him out of one of the other alternate universes, hence bringing in the X-Men. And Andrew, in the comments section, brought it up, and my son also brought it up, that if you watch the episode with assisted audio, it calls him Quicksilver from the X-Men films. So I don't know.
That's interesting. With assisted audio. Okay. I was like, what does that mean? And then I was like, okay. Do you think that's just simply to give people the understanding of the reference of why it's important? I think because that could be a thing. If you're watching this with no understanding of the wider universes at play, because some people they're just getting into this because they're like, I've got Disney Plus, I'll check it out. They don't necessarily, not everyone is like us. Not everyone can be like us. They don't know, that he is like this. So when he shows up to us, we were like, oh, poof. And normal people, I guess, sitting there like, what? It's a guy.
I don't get it. What?
It could be, I think it could be something like that as well. Like, just to be like, that's who this is. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I think the reality is starting to split because this is episode 5. We only have 4 more episodes to go.
You had 4 on one side, you got 4 on the other side. You had this one in the middle. This is the breaking point.
I think it is because a lot of things in this episode started not going like it has been, where she could rewind things and fix it up. The one with Agnes, should I take it from the top? Because evidently Vision wasn't acting the way he should have been. And so she was looking to Wanda to do her little rewind, and that didn't happen. And everybody was like all confused. Wanda was confused. Vision was confused. I couldn't tell if Agnes was confused, scared, or what.
And this is also following along the comics as well. When you look at when Wanda went to go get Vision the first time around to bring him into this reality, how he was all busted and messed up in pieces. Same way she found him when you go back and look at the footage when she walked in there and took him in the first place.
Right.
And the other funny thing, I thought, he can't remember anything before he got brought back in there. So same with the comic, same here.
Yep.
Same here.
And it makes sense. You have, he's this quantum supercomputer android. The first thing, you get a new computer or even a used computer. What's the first thing you do? You whip the hard drive.
Yep.
So that's essentially all you have to do to Vision. So the fact he doesn't remember who he is, that doesn't mean anything. And I think in the comics, she gets Hank Pym's help because Pym in the movie, Tony and Banner are responsible for Ultron and Vision, but in the comics, it was Hank Pym who was responsible for Ultron and Vision ultimately. So in the comics, she gets Pym's help, and they do reanimate the Vision, but he's just an android. He has no emotion, he has no feeling, he has no memory, he has none of that. So if we're going with that, we've seen now evidence of that comic series. We've seen evidence of the House of M storyline. They're pulling from a lot of great source material. But I gotta disagree with you, William. I'm not sure this is Mephisto. I thought the same thing, but I'm looking at it kind of from a screenwriting standpoint. Of all of the people that they could have brought in for Pietro, they could have done any actor. Why grab an actor from a franchise that's never been touched before? That's the reason I think this may actually be Quicksilver, but I'm not sure it's Quicksilver there of his own accord. And because he was brought in like everybody else, he is now completely under the power. And I think everything goes back to Agnes right now.
I'm speaking sort of from a biased perspective because I love Mephisto.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking from a biased perspective.
It's tough because I thought Mephisto too, but I only think that just because it wouldn't, from a writing standpoint, a screenwrite, it wouldn't make sense to introduce the first X-Men we ever get, first true mutant, and the actor and everything, and then have it be somebody else.
Well, you could also, it could be argued that even if that's not Mephisto there, that's not to say that he's not somehow in play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's involved, and
I think he is in some shape or form. I think he is.
Yeah.
And I also think, and I'm just going to throw this out here and see what you guys think, but another person I think that might be involved is Nightmare.
Ooh.
Well, that would tie in with
that ties in with everything. I like that.
How long is the podcast?
You just put another hour and a half on this thing.
We don't know what we did.
Debbie, tell us more.
Oh.
The reason I say that is after doing some research today, last minute, in the first Doctor Strange, we had Dormammu, right?
Yeah, Dormammu.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway,
Dramamine or whatever.
I was close.
Oh, man.
I get all the other names right. Come on. But
Captain and the Winter Soldier.
Yes. But also, who's connected with what's his face in the dark dimension is Mephisto
Mm-hmm.
and Nightmare.
Yeah.
And I think since whatever his name is can't really do anything because of the deal he made with Doctor Strange in the movie, maybe he's getting a workaround.
Yeah.
And bringing in Nightmare and Mephisto. Just a theory.
Another thing that makes me say Mephisto too is how this ties to Doctor Strange and his series that's coming up. That's another thing that sort of kind of makes me think that too.
That's a reason that's another reason. Like things we know. There's a Doctor Strange movie coming up soon. Like that's one of the things
we know
for sure.
Yeah, for sure that's going to happen.
You know that.
I think I read somewhere that they've even confirmed that Nightmare will be the villain in that movie. That'll be the bad. So
all right.
So
if
that's the case, that will tie. And Nightmare is the one.
And it's called
running
Multiverse
Wanda.
of Madness, and I know it has been confirmed that Scarlet Witch will be in it. And I even want to say that they said Scarlet Witch will be in it, not even Wanda Maximoff. But so because that's another thing that was mentioned in this episode that's coming along.
Who thought Vision and Wanda was going to fight? I thought they were going to fight in this.
Well, that could just be a foreshadowing event.
I thought they were going to fight, but they didn't.
Look at the background behind us. They're just getting us. They're getting us prepped for it because Vision hasn't totally broken away.
But and I gotta say one thing. It's always been said, or it's been said several times here that Wanda is being controlled. Something is, and honestly, I think something is controlling Wanda. I don't think she's doing this of her own accord, because if you'll notice, the entire time she's been in the TV show, she has not had her accent that she had in the movies. And even when she broke the fourth wall, if you will, and she stepped out into the real world and told them, hey, you guys just need to stop and back off, I'm having my perfect life, she did not have her accent.
Yeah, she did.
No, it wasn't there. Not when she was talking to Wu.
When she came from the
TV show into the real world,
she didn't.
She didn't have her accent.
That's true.
I'm thinking somebody's running that. Somebody's running her, manipulating her, and that's not really her talking.
Okay.
What if there's a Wanda droid? What? I'm just saying, we're talking about synthezoids. They're throwing out words like synthezoid, okay? And I mentioned this again previously, and so we have this giant alternate reality field of some sort. What's the barrier? Oh, it's radiation from the Big Bang, but also apparently TV signals. And what happens after Wanda goes back through it? Oh, she ups the defense, puts up a firewall, and it changes up with the red energy, and it's like
red. Yep.
Yep.
Right.
So,
I've been wondering.
Go on.
Oh, sorry, there was a cut in the mic. I've been wondering this whole time if Agnes was the bad guy here, if Agnes was in control. But what if it is Mephisto and Agnes is the buffer? Agnes is the one keeping her sane, keeping her normal, keeping her day-to-day going, that's why she's not fazed by anything, but she's always there whenever Wanda needs help. What if she's, instead of being the villain, she's the one who's actually buffering?
But that also keeps Wanda engaged in creating this false reality. It keeps her engaged in doing this thing that is bad. So if that's the norm that she is helping maintain, that's not necessarily a good guy. And here's a baby crying.
I think that might be mine. I'm going to step off camera for a second and check on that. One moment, guys. Keep going. I'll jump back in.
I just heard a crying baby, and I thought it might want some attention.
They mostly cry at night. Mostly.
We thought you might be sleeping, so here's a crying baby, just to make sure that's not happening.
In the comments, John Biscardi brought up something that I seen on Twitter today. Was the arm that was looks like it was getting ready to touch Quicksilver. You could see it in the mirror. When,
Yeah,
when Quicksilver is starting to walk through the door, if you look to the left, there's like a mirror or something, and it looks like an arm, but it kind of looks like a skeletal arm. I don't know. Some people were theorizing it was the Grim Reaper. Could be Nightmare. I don't know, but they did a photo enhance on it and it looked pretty darn creepy.
See, I missed that completely. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the episode again.
Well, when I got home, I watched the episode, and I think I rewound it like 20 times, trying to catch the right frame so I could pause it. And there is something there, and it does look like an arm. So
I'm not sure if that's like.
I thought it was kind of cool when he walked through. I thought it was kind of cool when he walked through the door and he said, "What's up? Who's the popsicle?" I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny.
What is the popsicle reference to?
The color of Vision's skin.
Mm-hmm.
Or his synthezoid flesh.
Yep. Yep. And I saw somebody in the chat ask who they were thinking who was more powerful, Wanda or Captain Marvel.
Oh, well, there was
they were arguing that. Darcy and Wu, yeah.
Who could have taken down Thanos single-handedly? Well, obviously neither of them, since that didn't happen, and they both tried. So, can we just stop with all that? Can we just got like? I'm sorry. At a certain point, I'm just like, can we not do that? Like, let's have this show later. And not be like when the characters in the show start like fanboying or fangirling or whatever over other characters in the same universe. I'm kind of like, you're there though. It's not. Yeah. It's a little. I don't know. But
it was like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They did it all the time in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. So
they did.
Well, I get that a little bit more because I was also slightly more removed. Like, we know when we're watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that was like, this is a TV show. This is not going to have the Avengers on it. This is not going to have anything that will, like, majorly affect what happens in the Avengers universe. When you're watching WandaVision, you're like, this is the next stage of the MCU.
That is true.
Spoilers, dude! Like, spoilers! End credit scene. When are they going to happen? Is it going to be the last end credits? It's got to happen because that's where they're the ones that do the end credits thing. When are they going to happen? They've got 8-minute long credits every time. No end credits scene.
That's been a big disappointment for all of this. Is there has not been an end credit scene, and God help me, we've watched all the way to the end of the credits, and then even watched all the foreign credits just to make sure. Wait
until the last episode, because you got to think of it again. A movie after the credit scene is like, that's the story has been told, and that's a tease for the next story. Gotcha. Story, the end of this story will be after the last episode. Exactly. So there's where you should look for it. Kind of like after in The Mandalorian, the last episode of season 2 had the Boba Fett going back to Jabba's palace.
Book of Boba Fett, yeah.
Yes. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Yes.
You know something I will say too.
Fantastic Four. Sorry to cut you off.
I agree.
About the, comments. That's another thing. Everyone's talking about the X-Men, but let's not like. Come on. Well, and I think they hinted at it sooner with the
with the space program.
Yeah, there's still astronauts out there that we don't know where they are, and I'm just like, don't we?
Oh, we do. Yes,
don't we? Maybe they're stretched too thin. Maybe they're involved in some rocky.
They're between a rock and a hard place.
Flame on! I don't know what to tell you.
I hate you both right now. I hate you both right now. Those were terrible. Those were terrible.
Terribly funny.
Yes, and yes.
Well, maybe if we could get Deadpool in here to, I would love to see a Deadpool cameo.
I want Deadpool in the background of Westview during like one of the opening sequences, just reading a newspaper, and he just looks down and just goes right back to reading a newspaper. Just placed in the background of different shots, I think would be fantastic.
I also want to throw some major credit to the comment at the bottom of the screen. John Muscardi.
Okay,
it
that
was
doesn't
a
count.
post-credit scene in the last episode. Wanda ran the credits, and then Pietro showed up after. Great point, and also a great thing worth discussing. She tried to run the credits to stop Vision from like talking to her. I thought that was really cool, and that couldn't have happened again without the setup of the first couple episodes of like establishing how their universe worked and stuff like that. What everyone was calling it boring and stuff. Though that's setting it up. So I lay it out for y'all to play it out. That was laying it out, and now it's playing out, and it's very exciting. Hello, special guest.
Yeah, she woke up. I thought it was one of you guys because I've got my headset on. So I feel guilty, so she's with me.
Welcome. So this child's not going to magically turn into a 10-year-old.
No, I hope
that doesn't happen in real life. That's just
entirely
for those of us who only know of child rearing from WandaVision. When is that child going to magically become 10?
Sooner than I'm ready for.
Oh, I've got the feels.
Where's the carry act? Send your carry act.
One thing I will say about this episode is, and we every episode we've kind of started at the first and built onto it. We finally got our 80s TV show. You had the credits that were rolling, the WandaVision credits. You had Family Ties was the obvious big one there with the painting and the pictures of them through time, and then
the song too was devastatingly like
it was horrible.
Wasn't it?
Was awful.
All I could think of was that I don't know if anyone's seen Too Many Cooks.
Yeah,
you ever heard of that? Too many cooks, too many cooks. It was like an Adult Swim thing, but it's like essentially like an 11-minute long theme song that turns into a manic meta horror story. Anyway, when I was watching that, I was just like, because she's mind controlling people, so it's not like this. We can get through it if we just I'm just like, oh god.
But Full House was. Which is funny because Full House, who was on that show? The Olsen twins. Hi.
And I don't mean to be a jerk by saying I hope she turns out better than her sisters did after being on a show.
And
like
I hope that I'm not a jerk for saying she already has. And if I am, then I'll take that. That's fine.
Well, the other thing, too, is that final scene where Vision comes in and he's washing his hands after, and we could go on for the whole thing with Norm, but the way they framed that kitchen shot was a lot like the way they framed a lot of Roseanne's. Whenever there was the conflict, there was always in the kitchen, somebody would storm off into the living room, and John Goodman would follow, or whatever, and the argument would. So that was framed. They've done a really good job subtly, I think, playing, and it's got to be deliberate. I mean, everything Marvel does is deliberate,
and that's not unique to that. That's like on a bunch of different. I mean, King of Queens did that. Exact same stuff. Family Matters, exact same stuff. Like you have the kitchen that leads because it allows you to literally change your location. It takes you from one setting to another. You disagree?
I don't think she liked that one.
Well, you know what? I went to college, baby. Did you go to college?
Have you been to college?
So I'm arguing with a baby.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does anybody think, maybe it's just me, there's something hinky going on with director Haywood?
Oh, well, he is certainly being shady. Director Haywood, lying to his own people.
And Wanda kind of gave him a really
nasty look.
The evil eye when she came out.
The stinkiest of eyes.
Yes.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna add, we got a Magneto flashback there too when they all turned the guns to point at him.
Yes.
So we've had
A lot like that. That was what, X2 that happened in?
first one,
Human
X1 was the
being,
first, I think.
and
Yeah.
the guns. Yeah, he does that. He turns all their guns against their own heads, and then he tells Xavier that he's like, I don't think I can stop them all, because he actually shoots one of them, stops the bullet from hitting the guy's head,
Right.
and then it's like, so it's that kind of like, again, mental chess that they're playing. This wasn't even close to that. I mean, that was like, oh, mental chess, what do I do? This was like Wanda outshone all of them. She outforced all. She was just like, I could kill you right now if I wanted to. I'm warning you now. I could, like, look at how easily it would be. I'm not going to do it. Go away.
Yeah, just leave me alone. Leave me alone.
And then
Let
she
me
put
do my
up
thing.
again the firewall. So it's either A, going to be harder for them to get in, and B, what's going to happen if someone does get in? She just warned them, just said, do you think she's going to start killing people if like someone tries to get in?
I don't know about that.
I mean, I think it depends a lot on if Wanda is in, like we've been discussing, if Wanda is in 100% control. If Wanda is in 100% control, I don't see that happening. If she's being controlled, I see a mental conflict of, because you've got Wanda, who's been a good guy all the way up until now, or theoretically up until now. And she's like, no, I don't want to kill this person. But whoever's controlling her is like, no, you've got to. He or she is invading your reality that you've created. He's coming into your happy place, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tough call.
It kind of seems like she's kind of under the... Well, also at the end of that, Vision was talking about, and she goes, I don't even know how it started.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like questions still going. Again, like, who is kind of pulling the strings here? Because Wanda doesn't seem to completely know what's going on. And that's why it's so weird when she goes out and threatens them. It's like, you're threatening these people to stay out, and then she's talking to Vision about how she doesn't even know how it started. And it's like, well, do you want it to continue? Do you want to get to the bottom of this? Or like, do you like what is that's still like up in the air as far as I know? Like what is good? What is her motivation?
What about the coworker of Vision's that kind of
that was cool.
He snapped back to reality, and he's like, "Oh, well, where am I? Where's my phone at? I got to call my wife." And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, "You're such a joker, Vision."
And he was like, "I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain."
Right.
I think he said it's her. She's doing it, but I don't think he ever actually said it was Wanda.
He doesn't say Wanda. Monica does. She says, I can hear her voice, but Monica was the only one that said that. So,
and that could have been okay. That could have been Wanda trying to protect her, to keep her. If we still don't know who's behind this, that could have been Wanda trying to keep Monica from drawing too much attention in a bad way, which would cause even greater harm than just Wanda expelling her. Like Monica says, she could have killed me if she wanted to. She flung me halfway across New Jersey and let me get out alive.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So oh man, someone said in the chat, like, I can't wait for the next episode. Yeah, like I have no idea still. Like things are happening that I was predicting, and at the same time, I have no idea how it's going to end or like what's going to happen. It's very exciting.
I know exactly what's going to happen, but I just don't know how they're going to get there.
That's kind of how I felt actually watching Infinity War. I was like, I know what they need to do, kind of, to make this an effective movie. I'm just not sure they're going to do it. And then they did it, and I was like, oh, you did it, you crazy bastards. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yes, end on that down note, man. That's how you...
Did you guys, and I may have missed it when I went to put the baby back to bed, but dad life. Did you guys see where they had said that the whole scene that they showed of Wanda taking Vision's body was intended to be an after credits scene for Endgame that they cut?
Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
So I read a thing that and they cut it because they thought it would change the tone of the film after Tony's funeral, that it would change it in the wrong way, so they just cut it. So it was a brilliant reuse of the footage the way that they did with that.
I wonder how she found out where the body was.
She's a telepath who can fly.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if.
Well,
I had a vision.
Yeah. Here we go again. It's the bad puns. But I mean, you got to think she worked for Shield for, from Age of Ultron all the way up until Infinity War. She was well, I guess Civil War technically, but she was a Shield agent. She knew Shield was into shady operations, if you will. She knew that there would be an organization that would have had Vision's body, and it's the secret organization that the spies are in charge of. And
or someone could have told her. That could have been like the first thing that someone manipulated her into doing. It's like, all you have to do is get his body and then take it here, and then you can have everything you ever wanted. Like, we don't know. There could be flashbacks.
She may have gone to what's her name in Wakanda and said, "Hey, where'd Vision go? Oh, well, they took him. He's over at this where." I mean, it may not have even been any kind of manipulation. They just said, "Yeah, they took him. He's over there." Oh, okay.
We have portals. Let me whip you up a portal.
Go for it.
And we know Banner was at least working at Stark R&D for a while, so I mean, he, if anybody had access to information and technology, that he had access to Friday as well, so he had access to computer hacking AI that could have told him whatever he wanted to know ultimately. Have you guys, what are your thoughts on Monica Rambeau's X-rays?
Photon.
Isn't she like Photon or whatever?
Yep. Yep.
The X-rays are there was something wrong with them, right? They didn't see them.
Yeah, they were white. They were completely like radiated out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And her power in the comics was energy field manipulation. And well, among a few other things, but energy field manipulation. So they got 4 episodes to flush that out into something, but I just wondered now, maybe is she gonna sometime in the next 4 episodes figure it out, and is she gonna be one who rips the barrier apart?
Or was this just a kind of it's here and it's in the background and it'll come up in future movies, TV shows, like whatever.
She also reacted poorly to hearing about Captain Marvel and everything like that. And also, that's not the first. The other, like Fury or whatever. Well, not Fury, but Skrull Fury in Spider-Man: Far From Home. When he was like, "What about Captain Marvel?" And he was like, "Don't." Someone was like, "Don't say that name." So like,
there's a backstory we don't have there.
Seems like there's something going on there. Which that could be fleshed out more potentially in this story, but also maybe somewhere else. I think there's gotta, like, what do you think's gonna happen in the next episode with Pietro? Like that Pietro. Do you think that's gonna be a big thing? Do you think it's gonna just be a throwaway thing, like a gag?
No.
Oh, I hope not.
People would riot. There'd be riots.
Here's the problem I have with it. Now, while I like that they brought Pietro on and they're tying all the Fox X-Men to the MCU, I honestly, when Disney acquired Fox and I was like, okay, we're getting everything, we can put everything together in one big movie. I really, really, really wanted a reboot to the entire X-Men series. I wanted them to start all over again, fresh cast, tell some decent stories, avoid Dark Phoenix if at all possible, and go with it and run with it. But here you've introduced the Pietro from the McAvoy
timeline,
series,
right?
the McAvoy timeline, and it's like, so are we going to continue with that timeline, or are they going to reboot and Quicksilver will just stay the same? Or
I like it as like you said, like I'm not getting upset about it. If I thought it was going to go the direction that you're saying, like they're just going to try and work the Fox mutants in, I'd be furious. I'm like, that's not the right thing to do. That's terrible. Right. But I don't think they're doing that at all. This is just a setup for that multiverse of madness, the place where you're going to see Tom Cruise playing Tony Stark, the place where you're going to see, a multiverse, possible realities, this thing that they've broken over, this mess, this Pandora's box of nonsense. This is a part of that, I think, anyway. It could lead to, yes, mutants and Fantastic Four and everything being in the MCU, but is it going to be like the Fox mutants? Other than that, Deadpool, I hope not. Just Deadpool. Just Ryan Reynolds.
We just went Deadpool. We need Ryan Reynolds back. Come on. X-Force.
100%. 100%.
Shut up and take my money.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm there for it.
And let's be honest, if they were going to bring anybody in as the cameo, Pietro makes the most sense because he's the only thing tying. And I read a thing that in Days of Future Past, I think, where we see Pietro, or I'm trying to remember where it was. We see him, and it was somebody had mentioned before that we see him with like his younger sister in the McAvoy timeline. We see Peter Maximoff with what looks like his younger sister. And read a thing that said originally in the script that intended to be a third Maximoff child, and that there was a cut scene that was going to reference an older sister to her, which would be the twin. So I don't know. It's
but that's
content that people are messing with now. So it's, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't worry about like any of that. And again, I wouldn't worry about the Fox timelines crossing over. This is just this is my opinion, but I don't see, there's no reason that they would want to try and continue the Fox timeline. It's a mess. They now own the characters. It's a chance. And also, if you do a multiverse thing, it's a chance for you to basically start from scratch. You just ended a 10-year-long event. This is a rebuilding phase. You're having a multiverse. Like, this is what we're in right now, is the tumultuous ether, the empty, the void, the craziness out of which sprang life. This is going to be the craziness that leads to the new whatever MCU it's going to be, whatever streaming movie combination, all of that. You remember the previous MCU? That was just movies. This new MCU is going to be multiversal streaming. Anyway, again, that's my opinion.
I mean,
that's why I think that Mephisto and Nightmare make a lot of sense, because with all the shows that are coming out, there are a lot of connections. If MCU Phase 4 is going with that darker dimension type phase, then those two make sense.
Yeah.
Because there's connections with Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Loki, definitely Spider-Man, and I can't remember his name. The living vampire, Jared Leto.
Morbius.
Yes. There's a lot of connections with that.
Isn't a new Blade movie coming out?
And Blade, there's too. So there's a lot of connections with that supernatural dark dimension.
And Fantastic Four and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, which has been hinted at even in this. And through that, you've got Doctor Doom. Who knows what they'll bring in from that angle of things. Galactus. I was like,
I almost see, because just looking at the release timeline of movies, we're not going to get Doctor Strange 2 until May of 2022. So our build up here, they can do whatever they like. And I see I'm dying inside, like, but it's setting up Doctor Strange. All this comes to a head. Everything that's happening, all the psychoticness of it, whatever Loki is doing through all of this, all of that can ultimately play and be written very seamlessly, because they've just put it out there in the title, the Multiverse of Madness. Anything goes. You are opening Pandora's box. So whatever they do the next year is totally fair game, and the sky's the limit.
So that raises an interesting question then, because and we were discussing this before the show started, so we just had the preview for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier promises to be the Michael Bay of the miniseries. That's going to be that'll be the one with all the action and the explosions, and I don't know how to finish this, so I'm just going to blow everything up, and it's like,
you son of a
exactly. So it's like, okay, so you've got all of this stuff going on with multiverse and mind manipulation, and how is Falcon and Winter Soldier going to tie into all of this? Or is it just going to be, well, that's happening over here, so they're unaffected by it, and we'll tie it in later?
It's going to be the Expendables version of a Marvel movie where you just want to see a bunch of people blow stuff up, and that's it. It's the feel good after whatever. I think something's going to happen. Some episode's going to come out, and we're all just going to get ripped to pieces emotionally by it. And then they're going to be like, "Here's Falcon and Winter Soldier," where they just blow everything up.
Well, they even had
makes you feel better.
Where the one guy looks up at a banner and it's like Captain America, and I'm just like, oh, hard to live up to that. Yeah. That is America's ass. No, wait, that's his face. Damn. You think you can clap cheeks like Captain America? You don't deserve that shield. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm pretty sure I saw some like train scenes, some plane scenes. We got planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm there for it. Yeah.
Can I please?
Keep your hokey sitcoms and your whatever. I want to see a one-armed man with a fake robotic arm sprinting as fast as he can and falling down the side of a CGI train. And I don't want to feel bad for wanting that.
And I want Nick Fury to show up and just start shouting about this Falcon that's on a plane and get these Falcons off this.
I'm tired of these goddamn Falcons on this.
Oh, Lordy.
Shut up and take my money.
It does look like an enjoyable series, and you got to think that in some way, again, this is part of a larger universe. So, some of the stuff it'll probably tie in some way, but that's why I think, like, again, it's going to be just another part of something leading up to like Multiverse of Madness. Like the WandaVision thing is going to be one thing, that's going to be its own thing.
It'll all be pieces of a larger
Loki's going to be its own thing, and then at the end of all three, like we're going to see like the unlocking of the Multiverse of Madness, and then Doctor Strange is going to be like, "Oh shit!" And then
Maria Rambeau becomes the next Agent Coulson.
We'll see things.
She just starts appearing and everything.
Well, you've heard. I mean, they've been saying for years they're looking for a role for like Keanu Reeves. People have been suggesting that he'll be Adam Warlock.
Oh God, no!
I've heard Moon Knight.
That's been like fan casted. People have been saying
he's too good looking to be painted gold.
Well, people have been saying Nathan Fillion will be Power Man or whatever.
Wonder Man or Wonder Boy.
Wonder Man. Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy.
Tenacious D, baby.
Well, anybody who's ever seen Doctor Strange's Dr. Horrible sing-along blog knows that Nathan Fillion can play the over-the-top campy superhero punching character. So he can do it. He can do it.
Absolutely.
But I read a thing today. Supposedly it's confirmed, and I have no reliable sources that tell me this, so take it as that. But I'm going to say a
rumor,
Geek news company, not ours, has come out and said officially that Keanu Reeves was approached today for being Kraven.
Yeah, that's what I heard
today.
Mm-hmm.
Like today, yesterday, but he's been officially approached by Marvel to play Kraven, and I'm going. He's not the guy you put as Kraven. You get Jeffrey Dean Morgan to play Kraven, and you put Keanu Reeves as like Moon Knight or somebody mysterious and dark with a John Wick-esque, or just make John Wick Marvel. Disney, just buy John Wick and make it Marvel.
Well, God willing, Jeffrey Dean Morgan will be too busy playing alternate universe Batman in the Flash movie to do anything else, because that's all anyone wants is a Flashpoint movie with Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne, drunk, gun-wielding Batman, and just a good DC movie. It's all we want. Ever since that movie came out, like, when did that come? Oh my God, it was years ago.
The animated one,
the Flashpoint movie.
Yeah, we were just watching it the other day. It was like,
just do this with them, with the live act. Just do this there. The whole animated universe. I'm like, what you're doing there, it's perfect. Just do it over there. I don't get where the disconnect is. I don't get why they're having such a problem over there. The DCEU, oh, terrible. We're going to have a whole discussion about that next Wednesday, by the way. So if anyone wants to talk DC, that's when we're going to get into it. I don't want to distract ourselves too much there. I you know me, I'm all over the place. So let's get back on to WandaVision. The twin boys. We haven't really talked about them. Freaky. They're weird. They're freaking me out. Because I don't know if they're real or not.
I think they are because... once again, Mephisto, he has to absorb them because they're shards of
Tell me
him.
more about that, because anyone just watching the show has no idea what the hell you're talking about right now. So
Well,
tell me more.
I don't either, but you know.
what are shards? Like, what does that mean?
Pieces of his soul, I believe.
And so Mephisto, does anyone else know anything about this here? He's a demon. He has shards, and those, what Wanda gave life. She helped him. So, okay, so that's part of like the devil's deal, essentially.
Yes.
So what we're thinking is this alternate reality, while made by Wanda's powers, is part of some, deal with the devil that she made with Mephisto in order to give her like this perfect life. And I'm sure if she tries to back out or like change the deal or whatever, things are going to go south.
But are they real? Because
that's my question. Like,
yeah, and I'm thinking no. And the only reason I say no is because you started in the 50s and 60s, you went to the 70s, now you're in the 80s, right? Now all of the characters have not aged. Every one of them has moved through this timeline of TV shows and not shown any aging. I mean, they've gone through costume changes and hairstyle changes and everything else, but they have not aged. But the kids not only aged, but they aged themselves like right in front of everybody. And
they did it. They kind of decided to.
So it's like, are they real or are they? I'm sorry. Are they not real? And that's the figment of her imagination or whatever, and it's just making themselves older.
And Vision brought up that, and it's something that other people had noticed, but Vision actually mentioned it at the end. He's like, why are there no other children here? So what's going on with that? Like, even if this is a town that wanted to go over, and even if all the people there are imprisoned and trapped there, why are there no other and I think people have seen in previews and stuff in the next episode is like, well, or at least coming up, if it's not the next, I'm pretty sure, but the Halloween episode.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is sure to be a big one, because we know that Vision's going to be interacting with Agatha or Agnes or whatever she currently is going by. She's literally dressed as a witch for Halloween, so I'm pretty sure like stuff's going to be going down. But I'm pretty sure we also saw kids in that. So is that just an adjustment that Wanda's made to try and like keep Vision under control, or is she still like fighting Vision? Are they going to start working together to try and get out of this? That's another interesting thing that I'm thinking, like, because she at the end of the episode seemed to be kind of breaking down, seemed to be kind of like siding with him a little bit more than ever. Before, she would just rewrite things and do whatever. Now she's actually talking to him, saying, I don't know how this started. She's accepting kind of the responsibility and accepting that things might not be right.
And if you'll notice, the more aware of things that Vision becomes, the less control she has over him, just him. I mean, before she was able to, he would say something and she was like, okay, I'm just going to rewind it and we'll start over from this line here. And now he's starting to become more aware, and he notices things going on around him, and she can't stop him now. She can't rewind him and fix him.
Well, and to to your point there, that's like the credits rolling. She tries to roll the credits just to say, I'm going to put an end to this, and he says, no, I'm not going to let you do that.
Right.
And it's also kind of speaks to at the beginning of the episode when Agnes is there and she's like, you just want to take it again. Vision is aware of that. Wanda's kind of like confused but aware of it. That would normally just be a case where she would just be like, zoop, well, again, you want to take it again? Just reset things. So it's weird that Agnes is aware of that type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, why does she get that that's what happens? Why is she aware of that? Why does she not care when the children age right in front of her? Why does Wanda not care that she doesn't care?
And why is she trying to stop all the other? I mean, what was it? It wasn't last week. It was week
the guy
before
trying
last.
to cut through the
Cut
hedge.
through the wall, and
He's literally trying to cut through the wall.
and he's trying to tell Vision too. He goes, we should tell him, and she's like, no, don't tell him anything. Don't tell him anything. You know, she's trying to stop things.
To the other side.
That's right.
Yes, and that's what I was saying. She's trying to keep that normalcy, but what is the normalcy that she's trying to maintain? It's that false reality. So again, if she is aware and she's trying to maintain this false reality, why? What is she getting out of it? And someone said maybe it's just to protect Wanda. Is anyone that altruistic? Literally, like what? She's just like, oh, I'm just helping maintain this fake reality, imprisoning tons of people just because I wanted to help Wanda.
Well, I think Agnes is also being manipulated.
You think she's also being
to a point because in the
Could
trailer
be.
with the Halloween scene, you know, she says something to Vision about, well, you're dead. And there's also a point where, and I don't know if she says this before or after, but he touches her just like he did Norm. So I don't know if that like snaps her out of it.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes WandaVision.
And that's when she says, you know, well, you're dead. You know, so if next week's episode or this week's episode is the Halloween episode, it might start answering a few questions.
Which can we take a moment and recognize the fantastic acting by the guy who played Norm in that scene? To go from, so tell me about this computer. All right, save me, help me. So if I send
really
an email, where do I send this? Where do I put a stamp? Just, I mean, his tone changed, everything changed in an instant. I mean, I just want to say, great acting, well done. Whoever that guy is.
I think the whole cast all the way around was amazing in this episode. Just, I mean, Wanda and Vision fighting at the end, going toe to toe with each other. It was like there wasn't any punches thrown or anything like that, but the tension was there.
And Paul Bettany doesn't do a lot of super intense roles. If you watch a lot of his films, especially some of the almost B-grade movies that he's done, like Priest and others. Priest, what was another one that he did where he was an angel? He tends to play kind of chill, very calm, stoic British characters, and then here he just really ramped up. I mean, and what's interesting too is that he went from being the Vision that's a robot, now it's almost like he's more human now,
right?
As his reality breaks.
I'm gonna throw two movies at you.
Okay.
A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. All right.
And Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, or something like that. The one where
Eternal Sunshine of the
Spotless Mind.
Yeah, that one I haven't seen. You're right, Paul. When he was
he's got range, baby. He is amazing.
He's great.
But I will agree with you. If you only know from certain things, again, maybe you didn't see that coming. But this episode, when he really got into it with her, Wanda, like, ooh, there's some there's heat. Oh my goodness, look out again. Yeah, he's pissed. He's getting angry again, like, and she even says, "You've never talked to me that way before." And he's like, "Before what? I don't remember anything." And again, they're even mentioning outside, it goes against the Vision's own living will, like against his own. Like he said, "If I don't make it out of this, don't do what she's doing."
Yeah.
So again, when we keep trying to say maybe it's grief, she's just trying to. We want we want Wanda to be in the right somehow. So again, we don't like that Hayward character, the director, for being like a dick. You know, he is. And you know, he's trying, and he is, and he shoots a missile at her, and he's underhanded and sketchy. Okay. And we don't like that. But at the same time, he's kind of playing it real as anything. He knows that we don't really have any other Avengers. We don't necessarily know. It doesn't seem like Captain Marvel's around to do stuff. We don't know where Thor is to do stuff. Yeah. If this is the response team that they currently have to handle situations like this, and they clearly can't handle situations like this, then what are they supposed to do? He's out of his depth. Or is he sinisterly up to something? Do you think, okay, does anyone think that the director of S.W.O.R.D. is somehow in on this? Does anyone have any theories on that guy? I want to hear him if you do.
I don't like him at all.
And I think that's intentional. Again,
I would not be surprised if he was against the Avengers from the start. Not necessarily that he was Hydra, but I mean, he made it very quick to stop Jimmy from mentioning anything positive about Wanda when he was giving her backstory. He immediately went to the negative, lost their parents, radicalized by Hydra, volunteered and radicalized by Hydra, refused to mention, and then brings up Lagos in Germany. So his whole thing is to paint this negative picture, no saving grace.
And on the one hand, he is leading a group of people who he has to, that's your enemy. So he has to do that for his troops. And on the one hand, on the other hand, also, that is very similar to when Captain America, when someone's talking about Wanda to Captain America, it's Maria Hill, and she's going, and she's talking about the Maximoff twins when she's in Age of Ultron. She's like describing them, and it's like, who the heck, you know, signs up with a German or Captain America, and he goes like, yeah, who would you know, let a German scientist experiment on them for the good of their country? Which is literally the backstory of Captain America. So it's like, there are more sides to this story than you can paint a story, you know, from one side or the other. But like, there are definitely, of course, more sides to this one than the way that he painted it there. But I do want you to remember that, like, yeah, when you're in command of a group of people, you don't want to be like, well, we don't want to shoot her if we don't have to, when like your job is to like shoot her if you have to.
Yeah, I guess.
And that's their job. Like,
that's true, but I mean, if you're also giving a backstory in a briefing, you have to give more information than, because I mean, he didn't even go into. I don't know. I guess I see.
He is trying to. Yeah.
I go for the Picard method of command, which is give a little bit more information and paint the whole picture.
Oh, buddy, we are not in that enlightened future yet. This is right here, right now.
Well, in the Marvel universe, we got Debbie over here with a flirkin on her lap, so you know that's happening.
You know, the last time I trusted someone, oh god,
I lost an eye.
Oh god, mistake. The MCU is not perfect, ladies and gentlemen. It is not.
Can we just all admit that is probably the best way the best storyline they could have gone for a tough guy like Fury to lose his eye?
I refuse to admit that is the best way that could be, and it actually makes watching Captain America, the second movie, a lot less enjoyable when he says that line. And it was like, it was a cat, you liar, you idiot, you fool. It was a gag joke, and your eye, your entire eye. Oh, it was Wolverine. All right. Multiverse of Madness. Reset the timeline. It was Wolverine.
Give Deadpool his time machine thing. Let him go clean up the timelines.
That's it. One end of the credits scene with Ryan Reynolds hopping around the MCU.
Cleaning up the timeline.
We did it. Cleaning up the timeline. God, what brilliant movies. Anyway. Did that guy just say the Deadpool movies were brilliant? I don't know if we should trust this.
There is a comic book, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Wonderful.
So, I mean, that's how the MCU ends, is just they let Ryan Reynolds just go on a killing spree.
And he breaks the fourth wall, jumps out of the comic book, and kills the writers because Deadpool is awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to get on the... Anyway, no, not getting into Deadpool. WandaVision. WandaVision. We've been going for over an hour. So, last thoughts, or not last thoughts, but like, what do we got? Anything?
I have a
about?
thought, and I tried to look on the internet. I didn't see anybody else bring this up, but I just thought it was kind of odd. Could just be me. But when the babies were crying continuously, and of course she comes in and she sprays the lavender, supposed lavender, and then immediately after that the kids aged. So I was wondering if that was like some kind of potion.
But didn't they also age later? When the
Well, I kind of
With the
wonder if
dog.
that's what got their powers going.
you can't own a dog until blah, and
Until
then they
you're 10
Yeah.
or 11.
then they do it themselves. Interesting. I mean, that of course. Do I know what that was? No, I don't. But is it suspicious as hell? Absolutely. Yeah. Bunch of lavender. Don't worry. I'm just spraying tons of stuff. I'm a witch spraying stuff on your
On your
newborn
kids.
alternate reality babies that we don't know how you even had. That
I
you
just didn't know if that somehow activated their powers, or
Yes, I'm suspicious.
To go with the
I
Mephisto,
just thought it was hinky. That's all.
to go with the
Absolutely.
Mephisto line, though, this Mephisto line of thinking, the reason she couldn't silence the babies tells me that she is not the one who manifested them in this reality.
They came out of her vagina.
How it does not mean. Well, yes, technically you know what? Yes, technically, in the most
I'm
most
sorry,
medical sense. Thank you, Dr.
couldn't-
Chris. We are Dr. Chris, Yoda physician, and you are now the,
Okay, so here's what
He
I'm
went to
saying.
college. He knows how it works.
There was a gateway. All right? we saw him in the last event.
I mean, are we going the immaculate conception route here? But that just tells me that it wasn't deliberate from her, because every other thing that she's been able to go, no, that's it. It's something that she's somehow connected to. I think this could be. That's why. I mean, that's the only reason I can think of why she wouldn't be able to, was if it wasn't initially her manifestation.
So you think that's why she doesn't have like control over them, or why she can't keep them from
Use her powers on them.
It's interesting. I would also say possibly there were no other kids. Where were the kids? Maybe they're just being kept somewhere else. Maybe there are other kids, but I don't know. They're just it's weird that there were no kids and now there are going to be kids. So it's like, oh, they were all 10 years old and we were just waiting till they were 10 years old. It's like there's got to be something more going on again. I think like that's a bigger thing, is like, why are there no children here? I think that's a bigger
But everything's for the children.
question. Yeah, like the whole
Everything was
it's
for the children.
That's true. Going back to the first or second episode with the magic show, it was the fundraiser for the yeah.
Well, and then really, you don't see animals. I mean, we've seen the rabbit, which was Agnes's, and we've seen the stork, which that theory was
crazy.
Mephisto.
There's
And
a
then the
lobster.
dog.
Now you've got the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but
Which, by the way, there was an Easter egg right there, because at some point the dog's name is Sparky, and they say, one of the kids says, "Sit, Sparky, sit, good dog." Where you had the Ubu productions from the 80s, "Sit, Ubu, sit, good dog." That was actually Family Ties. Funny enough, so fun little fact.
So
when they discovered the dog dead, Agnes seemed really upset. I don't know if she was upset or if she was afraid that Wanda was going to do something because, it was in her bushes.
I think that's part of her manipulation, dude. She is
Dudette.
playing up because Dudette.
Dudette.
I use it, it's genderless. I don't know what that meant. Anyway, I think that that's part of her manipulating Wanda and manipulating the kids into, again, further manipulating Wanda emotionally, because Wanda, and then getting the kids upset, and then getting that, it's like, bring it back to life, bring it back to life, bring it back to life. Just use your magic to make everything better, which is what they're trying to push her to do constantly. And now she's fighting back against that. You don't see her fight back against that before. She was using that to fix everything. Sitcom, do. Oh, I'll just whoop, reverse everything, do. Now she's saying, you can't just fix everything with that. Well, unfortunately, that's the basis of the reality that we're living in, is that you just fix it with whatever. So if you start fighting against that, it's going to start to break.
And that leads into the whole Pietro thing too, because she kept telling them that was her thing, was you can't fix everything with magic. And Pietro was dead. And when he showed up on her front door, she was, she had a look of shock on her face. Like, where did you come? And she knew who he was. She knew that was Pietro. And she was shocked that it was like, she looked at that like, well, maybe the magic can fix it. Or somebody else used the magic to say, hey, look, magic can fix this and can bring the people back. And they're using that to expand her powers for some nefarious purpose.
Or to push her to the point where she breaks open reality so that these entities can invade ours, leading to the Sorcerer Supreme, the Protector, having to help. And also, if you remember in the first Doctor Strange, or only Doctor Strange movie, 3 of the sanctums get destroyed. The barriers protecting our world get destroyed. There's only one left. So is our defenses weakened? Absolutely. And in the end credits of that movie, one of the things that happens is the guy that helped train him, Mordo. Sorry, Morbo, I will destroy you. Futurama. Put him.
Shut up and take my money.
There it is again.
That's perfect. It's the best thing ever did. Mordo, yes, he starts killing people that are using magic. So he's now killing off sorcerers, and who knows how long he's been doing that behind the scenes in the years that have passed. Again, while the Sorcerer Supreme was snapped out of existence. That's another thing that we haven't seen the effects of for 5 years.
5 years he was gone.
The Sorcerer Supreme was snapped out of existence, and they might have saved reality, like the timeline. Whoop-de-doo. There are still tons of things, as we did see in that episode 4, or was it 5? When I guess it was 4, when Monica comes back from the snap back to reality again. There it is.
Yeah.
So prevalent. And you just see, like, this is the kind of stuff, like these side effects that you don't necessarily see when they're fighting Thanos, and like when you're in the middle of the Spider-Man movie. But like, these are things that happen. These are effects that happen to this universe. Big deal.
I found out something on the dog just now.
What's that?
So I had seen something about this, and I just did a quick look. This is off the Marvel database, the fandom database. Sparky, a synthezoid created by Vision as the first step in reuniting his family. And there's a whole other backstory there. Skipping ahead a little bit, Sparky was beaten to death by a character called Virginia during a fit of blind rage.
This is from the comics?
This is from the comics. Going further down, with the help of Tony Stark, the Scarlet Witch brought Sparky back to life and returned it to Vision's daughter, another synthezoid named Viv. So Sparky is actually a canonical character and in the comics, and was Vision's synthezoid dog, and it does die and does come back to life. So the whole thing with the dog may have just been a throwaway for the greater point.
I think it could have been, because again, I think they're pulling from a lot of different stuff, like, because there is so much backstory that you can pull from these characters, but not all of that backstory fits in with like the MCU that they've created so far, the characters they have. But where they can, oh my gosh, yes, of course. So Sparky, absolutely. Is it going to go exactly like it did in the comics? No way. they're just again great at using that stuff. Props to them for actually pulling from the comics and making an attempt to actually pay tribute to the roots of the characters, at least at some point, while trying to tell a new story and succeeding. I think it's very interesting. I think, and Debbie's brought it up before, like inverse House of M partially situation again, with other aspects of different things thrown in again because of the wider issues at play, the Fox buyout, like rights and issues and overlapping things and stuff like that. It's actually kind of fascinating to me, but it is really cool to see, despite my worries over monopolies and all kinds of other stuff. I'm excited to see Mutants and the Fantastic Four and everything come into the MCU. It's almost enough to make me not enough to make me not worry about that stuff, but almost. I'm really excited to see it, and the tragedy is that we won't get to see, like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and maybe, who knows? I'm sure if they keep making money, they could probably throw enough at Hugh Jackman. Ryan Reynolds will just get him and Robert Downey Jr. in a room. He's like, "Look, guys, I didn't tell you, but we're actually filming today."
It'll just be a picture. It'll just be a poster of Hugh Jackman on the wall somewhere with one metal claw up going, "We want you for
X-Force." It's X-Force 2. X-Force 2 is good.
Yeah.
Twice as many members are going to survive. It's like 4.
And there's also and I'm kind of disappointed they haven't had her on anymore, but the blonde, what's her name?
The one that she said, "I know who you are and I know what you're capable of," and
I can't believe I can't remember.
She cut her hand.
Yeah. There's been
theories. Magic Show episode.
The Queen Bee.
Yeah, there's been theories that she is either Emma Frost, or another interesting one was Clea, Doctor Strange ex-girlfriend or ex-wife in the comics. I thought that was interesting.
And then would be an interesting way to tie in something. Like, I wouldn't see that coming. I could totally see them doing something like that, but that would have to be an ex-wife of him before he ever became Doctor Strange. But anyway, you were about to continue on with something.
And the other one, which I'm not a big fan of, but that she's actually Mephisto, and they just did a gender swap.
Oh, that he's okay. Well, yeah.
I don't follow that one. The Clea one I found interesting. So, but I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen any more of her.
Well, there is a lot of potential. We still don't know. Now, I don't remember seeing her identified as one of the people necessarily.
She's not.
We're still not sure like who was the initial subject of Wu's investigation. Like,
yeah, the witness.
Oh, maybe she was the witness that Wu's supposed to be looking after.
And we don't necessarily know how that ties in, and how, like, we don't know what he's still there too. Like, that sword guy could easily probably have said, like, get out of here by now, but apparently he's still allowed to like work on this case on a high level. So, I mean, I know he kept Ant-Man under house arrest, but like, what else is this guy working on for the FBI? He must be like their go-to guy for.
No, he's Mulder. He's working the X-Files that nobody else wants to work. Nobody else wants to work those. So yeah, give it to Wu. He'll do it.
Softball season's over. We'll just give it to Wu.
Which again makes you wonder, who was that witness that he was originally there for? It didn't start out as this giant, reality bending case. He was there for a reason, for a person, and we still don't know that. I love that, by the way. I love that, like, about this show, like that it keeps giving us stuff, but it still has stuff that's hidden from it. Oh,
it's Norm.
It's Norm. It's Norm. Not Norm. More Norm.
And
to keep with the old school TV callbacks, when this is all said and done and the walls drop down, everybody just goes Norm from Cheers and just
No. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name. Yeah, I know it's a rumor. Yeah, they're talking about it's just a internet rumor. They're doing a Jimmy Woo X-Files thing. I mean, sure, if you can. I mean, I don't think it's likely to actually happen. I think there's actually a lot more planned for the MCU than we're party to. They have a lot of things that they are going to be planning to do. Just the fact that we know that scene where Wanda breaks in and steals Vision's body was meant to be part of like the end credits. They were considering using that for end credits. That shows you how far ahead they're thinking on this stuff. They're thinking far ahead about what they're planning, what's going to tie into what, how they're going to do it, and how they're going to do it right. That's how they made the MCU work in the first place. That's where the DC, cinematic universe stumbled its butt off trying to just play catch up, and it didn't. They didn't spend the time making the actual effort to like line it up the right way. And so that's what they're doing now here with the streaming things and the tie-ins, and that's why you have like the 3 streaming movies leading up to the Multiverse of Madness. For their fans, for the people that are like, you're buying into the streaming service, you're into the well, guess what? It is all going to keep connecting, at least on a certain level. It is going to pay off for you if you're here the whole time. And I'm like, it should pay off because I'm paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Keep it up. And so far, I think they are. I think WandaVision's been great. And again, a slightly different format than most people are used to. And I think people are going to be a little more at ease. Your typical, your normie MCU fans that are just fans of the movies are going to be more at ease with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was going to say Captain and Falcon. Captain.
You should have, just for Debbie.
Yeah, they're gonna be watching Captain and Falcon. I did watch the new trailer. I saw them like both catching the shield. I was like, who's gonna get it? I don't know. I'm getting hyped for that too. So let me tell you. And I'm excited. Again, we're doing these every Monday for this show. I'm sure that show is gonna be the same way, released over weeks. So we're gonna be doing the same thing, talking about stuff week to week. What's gonna be happening? So keep looking forward to these. Keep tuning in. And I'll stop doing that perhaps. So
what
you
happens
never we have
We're gonna
fun.
say that was like
When
that was like a Wookiee with COVID-19. That was just Can I say that on the streaming channel? I don't know if you did just strike us for that.
You're going, yeah.
Hey, you're gonna go to YouTube jail.
They're just waiting, finger over the button. They made a mistake. Geek News Now. You done, kids, with your Geek News.
Get off my lawn.
So back to WandaVision. Does anyone have any final thoughts on this past episode? Anything we want to say before we call it a...
I just hope Quicksilver is like mooching off their beer on the couch and is just like never gets a job, and it's just like that brother that shows up in every 90s TV sitcom where he's just like long lost brother who should, yep, exactly. He just shows up and he's just like mooching off everything.
I was like, it's already in the comments. We
have
it.
There it is.
I was like, okay,
Yep.
we are going to talk about it. Yeah. Who's the popsicle? Yeah, no, exactly. It's like he's the guy. Oh, cool, Johnny. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, hey, he's that character, like Johnny Cool. I think they can have a lot of fun with that, especially since the 90s is the next thing. So, I guess where do you think what that what we're going to see? Yeah.
What show are we going to mock in the 90s?
That's a good question.
I mean, you could go with
we've seen the
Roseanne,
Halloween.
maybe, but well, and see, Roseanne was famous for their Halloween episodes, so
I think it might have a tie in there with that because that was a little bit.
Sabrina the
crossover.
Teenage Witch.
That would definitely
sure.
be
Why,
really
you know what? Why not?
At this point.
But I don't think that one held the popularity. I mean, you could. There was a bunch of stuff on what was it, TGIF, that you could pull for, Step by Step or Family Matters or Perfect Strangers. Yeah. There's a slew. John. Cut it out.
That's Lord.
That is kind of great. Another thing about this show is just I knew it from the first time I saw the trailer. I was like, God, the nostalgia bait in this show. I don't even mind though, because I even had Kitty from that '70s show playing the one character. I was just like, at least they're doing it right. Yeah. At least they're getting like staple like characters. Although who said John was doing his reaction to Falcon and Winter Soldier.
You almost said it wrong again.
I did, Captain and Falcon. And he was like, he said the lady interviewing them, or whatever, was Peggy from
the Middle, or from Everybody Loves Raymond.
I think he said he said yeah. He said
Everybody Loves Raymond. Yeah, I saw that video.
Raymond's ass. And I was like, I didn't even remember that until you said it. I was like, I was not thinking that when I was watching that trailer, and now it's all I can think of. Which just makes me want to watch that even more. I definitely am looking forward to that one, though. Again, much different style. Like, that's going to be more like a buddy cop. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the buddy cop, Action Jackson. Just even the staring contest thing at the end of that trailer. It's like, oh my gosh, these guys are
just going to stare at each other.
It's like their fight against Spider-Man, but for like a series. Maybe with like an emotional impact during some part, but and also, am I mad at that? No, I'm not.
No.
Could you scoot your seat forward? No. Like, I like their dynamic. I like them as friends, and I like that they were like the reason that they know each other is because they're both friends with Captain America, but they're like not at all friends with each other.
You never let your best friends meet.
It's like, this is my friend from 100 years ago. This is my friend from right now.
Let's go have fun.
Oh, this is gonna go great. Although it is so funny though, when they see him make out with the girl, they both just like they're both like in that moment. They're like, "All right, now we're on the same team just to mess with him." It's like, yes, because they're his best friend. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And again, that makes me wonder what the Loki show is going to be like, as far as, because you think they're going to have a different format for that too, right?
Loki's going to tie in with WandaVision and Doctor Strange, and
I'm expecting
they're all going to be interconnected.
I'm just wondering more like what the Loki might even get itself more involved with, like some of the Thor stuff in Guardians of the Galaxy area.
Well, since Loki took the Tesseract and jumped, he basically created an alternate timeline. So I see that tying a lot to. I mean, it's that one's kind of a shoe-in of, this is Multiverse of Madness, because now we've got an alternate timeline, another universe, as you were, to where Loki's running around doing what Loki does.
You're right.
Getting into mischief.
Could be a way to reintroduce Captain Marvel too, since her powers come from the Tesseract.
And he stole that. When was that?
That was 2012.
2012, right? Yeah. So that's, who knows, man. Oh my gosh, what a mess. Their time travel was already a mess, but you at a certain point you're just like, there's so much to keep track of. I can't.
Yeah. There was an easier way to do it, and
it's like I don't have time to argue with your time travel because I'm trying to keep up with all the stuff you're coming out with. Let me try. I'm just trying to have fun.
That's the Marvel master plan. We don't give you enough time to be mad about it. We're just going to release another episode.
You know what I hated? Ooh. It's shiny. You don't even. Anything actually related to WandaVision before we call it a end of this. Pietro. Okay, we went on. He's gonna be maybe the layabout uncle on the next episode. I'm excited to see how he's going to factor in, because I didn't actually see that coming at this point. I did not at all. That took me by very much surprise, and so I'm interested to see how that's going to fit into the rest of the series. And I haven't watched all the trailers, but I think we've seen most of what's in the trailers, other than like some of the Halloween stuff.
The Halloween stuff. I think that's.
So there's a lot that we just have no idea where they're going to go.
Everything's new.
All I can say is it Friday yet?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then is it Monday, so that we can get here and talk about it, because it's very fun. I like doing it. I hope that everyone that watched also had a good time. That's it for us today. We'll be back every Monday to talk, as long as there's an episode on Friday. That gives people time to watch it. I just feel like it would be rude to get on at 4:00 in the morning and can you believe what just happened? I'm asleep still. Right? I haven't seen it. Let's talk about it Monday night. I have a schedule. I have an itinerary. Right? That's not true. All right, you can tell I was lying. All right, it's fine. They caught me. I'm fine with it. We're just going to thank you for being here, everyone, and great show.